on average once, twice a week, but we get a crowd of 60 to 100 people coming, and we put tefillin galore, and they eat kosher food, and it's actually an incredible pula. Anyway, so I've only been to their house twice for that purpose. And I realized right around the corner, so I said, kids, let's go to this house around the corner. I've never been there before, ever, to take a matzah. So we go to the house, I knock on the door, and the gentleman opens up and he recognizes me. He says, oh, I said, I came to give you matzah. And he looks very distraught. He says, come inside. And I see him and his wife, they're both very, very distraught. So I said, Chevra, what's going on? Well, why are you looking so down? And I said, well, yesterday we were in Westfield when this Meshuggah started stabbing and killing people. And we watched the whole thing unfold. And we're terrorized. We're traumatized. We're sitting here. We don't know what to do with ourselves. I couldn't sleep at night. And here we are. We're all distraught. And I'm thinking, I've never been to this chevra to take them matzah. I'm only here because the other guy wasn't there. And how the Rebbe sent us here to give matzah and to uplift their spirits. And we farbrengen with them. I put film and every alagot zachen, gave them matzah, and we left. As we're leaving, my son, my 4-year-old, turns to me and he says, Tati, we forgot to do tzedakah with them. So my older son says, don't worry about it, we'll go to the next one. And I'm also thinking that way, and as I'm debating whether to go back or not, the lady comes running out and says, 1 second, Rebbe. I knew exactly what she was doing. She went back and she brought a $20 note and she says, can I give charity $20? And my youngest son, both my sons, but my youngest son is watching this unfold. And I started to, and he took out his pushka with a smile and she put $20 in. And as we were walking away, I was farbrengen with the kids and saying, look, not just mitzvah l'maisa, made it happen. And the kids are able to learn through this, first of all, the koyach of hashgacha pratis, the power of hashgacha pratis, how real it is. And you don't have to be some shliach to do it. I don't see myself as one of these guys. It's just simply, the Rebbe gave us this incredible task of making an actual difference. And I believe that the success that we have in shlichus is only because we put the chinuch of our kids first. And it's not that easy in Sydney, trust me. That's why you're all in Melbourne. Sydney's a schwerer Platz. Very, very, but there's atzmas there. It's not, there's real atzmas. You have to close your eyes in the streets. You have to see the Eibishter all the time. But it's where the Rebbe sent us, and obviously we have the koyach to do what we need to do, and not just that, raise the next generation of shluchim, of kids that from a young age know the power of Rebbe, the power of Avos Yisrael, and the reward in it, and how not the reward cash-wise, the reward in seeing mitzvah gereres mitzvah and all these beautiful slogans of Pirkei Avos, how they're in actuality. Since you're all so quiet. On this topic of chinuch, there was an email that went out from the Kinnus HaShluchim 2 years ago. A week before the Kinnus, we're looking for, or 2 weeks before the Kinnus, we're looking for a father and son duo, a father that saw the Rebbe and he's on shlichus and he's doing the Rebbe shlichus based on, on the koyach that he got from the Rebbe, and his son that equally sees the Rebbe in his life and in his shlichus. Right away, I was going that year anyway with my son for the first time. And my son's a bit of a chevraman. He did. He ended up being the main feature of the kids' Kinnus HaShluchim. They did a whole video on him because he took upon himself. It was his initiative. I kid you not. He put up together. I helped him. But he put up 101 mezuzahs in 1 year for the Rebbe's 101st birth. Was it 100? 101? 100 mezuzahs. Anyway, so I got this email. I replied to him. I have the son. He's an incredible shliach, and we started talking. And that was Friday morning. That afternoon, I picked him up from school, and I said to him, it was mamash before Shabbos. I said, I need to put mezuzahs on somebody's house. Can you come with me? He says, yeah. So he gets in the car, and I'm farbrengen with him about, now this is there's a lot of iris here. Maybe, hopefully nobody's online. But I have proof of this. But I'm farbrengen with him how when you're on shlichus of the Rebbe is mamish with you. This is not a joke. It's not a theory. This is not something that we're told and we re-preach it or re-deliver that, with a bit of hesitation in our minds to our kids, to hopefully they'll believe in it. No. The Rebbe is actually with you. And I'm telling him this. Right now we're going to put on mezuzahs. The Rebbe is with us. I'm pumping him up because of the kinnus, right? I'm telling him that we're going to the Rebbe and everything. Anyway, I kid you not, I look up, naturally, I'm driving, and the car, as soon as my son is my witness, I look up, and the car in front of me is a car that I've never seen. I've never seen this make in Australia, but the car in front of me is a 1970s Cadillac, exact copy of the Rebbe's car. And I'm like, no, Knassen. I was just saying that the Rebbe is with us. I've never seen this car in my life in Australia. I've never seen a Cadillac in Australia, but and the one that the Rebbe drove in. And then I see something else. The license plate, the first two letters is MS. I'm like, Nassim, look at this. It's the Rebbe's initials. And he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe what he was seeing because of how we were farbrengen. And we went to put mezuzahs with his chaver that maybe don't even know what the Rebbe is that much. And I'm telling them the story and I'm saying l'chaim with them, and they're like, okay, yes, amazing. Anyway, I called my friend over here in Sydney, Gabby Kushner, and I'm telling him the story because he's been with me to the Rebbe a few times. And I send him the photo, and he calls me back. And he says, Eli, you missed out the second part of the license plate. It's MS, is it? 576 or something. And he says, what is that? Right, am I wrong? 5 plus 7 is 12, 6, 18. MS 18. The Rebbe is alive. And when I went and told my son, he literally fell on the ground. He fell to the floor. He couldn't believe what was going on with it. So, listen, for us, I took a picture while I was driving. Yeah. It's on record. Listen, Baruch Hashem, I only have 3 demerit points. I'm all right. But anyway, how the importance of delivering what we learn in Chassidus and what we remember from the Rebbe, and the passion that we have, the chizuk that we're constantly receiving from the Rebbe is so important to give it over to our children in an absolute real way, not in the way of a bracha or anything like that. No, that it's mamish, it's real. It's real. We can laugh from today till tomorrow about, the people that live Rebbe every single day. And it is peculiar for the rest of the world. But we're not meant to be normal mention. We're here to go against the tide, to go against the ruach of the streets, and we're here to bring Mashiach. L'chaim. Baruch Hashem.
So you're not in O'Brien anymore?
We're almost not in O'Brien anymore.
Did you sell O'Brien?
No, we haven't.
You're gonna keep both.
We're gonna hopefully keep both. What happened was my father-in-law, like there was no way. So before COVID, the price of fitting out the shul was at $3 million. After COVID, when we finally were ready to build, the price of fitting out the shul was actually at $9 million. Yeah. Now, where are we going to get $9 million? So we've got a pledge of $500,000. That's nice. But we have, so just one of the incredible things that happened. Rabbi Omen lost his father in COVID. I mean, not because of COVID, but in COVID. And at the same time, there's a gentleman in Sydney, a Hungarian Jew, that also lost his father. Now his aunt comes to our shul, and when her brother passed away, the son wasn't a member of any shul, and she told him, "You should get Rabbi Ullman." He said, "Okay," to do the funeral. So we went to the funeral. We did the funeral. Had no idea who this guy is. We never met him before. I never met him before. Anyway, after a couple of weeks of him coming to shul every single day, in Sydney we were allowed to daven for a little while in a shul, and he says to Rabbi Ullman, "I hear you're building a shul. I'd like to get involved." So it's, okay, Eli, do me a favor. Could you take this gentleman through the shell? It was just a shell. There was nothing going on. So I took him through the shell. Never met this guy. Don't know anything about him. Literally nothing about him. I said, "What the heck?" Just start Farbrengen with the guy. The Rebbe, Mises, and the Igris, and this and that. You guys never heard of Igris before. Never heard anything. I'm just telling him all the stories. It's a miracle. Anyway, comes back to my shver's office, and he says, "So what are you offering in the shul, like dedications?" So I started at the top, and I went all the way to the bottom. He made me go all the way down to the smallest dedication, and then he says, "I'll take the library." Library was $613,000. It's like, that was the biggest donation I've ever heard of in my life. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, right away, he transferred to be able to start the building. And to date, he's transferred $3.1 million. And he's helped us in many, many other ways as well. And we're not there yet. We have a loan, obviously, and we're, working through it. But we see, there's no, it's not hocus pocus. There's no like coming out of a hat, some miracle all of a sudden. I want to tell you something. 4 weeks ago, I was discussing with Dan. 4 weeks ago, we were in a situation where for the first time in a year, almost a year, the builders were not being paid. Like every month was a hefty bill. I'm talking about 200, 500, 1,000, right? Just every month, crazy bills. And Baruch Hashem, we had the loan and we had these, donations coming through. But it came to a point where a $600,000 bill came through and there was actually $25,000 in the account with no idea where the rest was coming from. So we have in pledges 1.5 million, right? Pledges. And there's no crazy miracles. The builder caught on that there's actually no money, but thankfully for one of our balabatim who's dealing with the builder, said, "Listen, we have it in pledges. They're good pledges. You have to trust us that it's going to go." And they were okay with it, but they gave us a deadline, and the deadline, was getting near and near, and we thought there's either going to be a miracle or they're just going to pull out last minute. Can you imagine if they pulled out a month before the end of the shul? It'd be a disaster. And whatever happened, I don't even know what happened, but things just started to happen on their own pace. And that's the point I'm trying to make. It wasn't on any deadline that any builder made, or any deadline that we gave ourselves, or money didn't come from places that we thought it was going to come from. Everything is happening without us planning it. Obviously, we're making the kalim, we do make the phone calls, and I called around, trust me, I called people that live in housing commission for ideas of how to get to $1 million, right? Because you got to make the kli. Who knows? You never know, right? I actually called one guy, simple, house or whatever, and not because I thought, he's like, literally, if you would have called me a week ago, I just got a tax return, hefty. I would have lent it to you, no problem, but it's gone. I'm like, we just went through this process. We keep on going through this process. We realize that everything is on a timeline that we don't control, and we just got to go with it. And it's happening. It's happening. It's the most beautiful. We have, when you walk in, the first thing you see when you walk in is the Staka Pushka, but behind that, on the wall, it's Jerusalem stone, and on the wall we have 2 bricks from 770, and they're not Lebedika bombas. They're from a trusted source from many, many, many years ago. Somebody did renovations.
Even the tunnels.
Yeah, that's what I was avoiding. By the way, the guy that I was talking about at the beginning of the night, that pledged $500,000 and saved the building, the old building from being sold. Just last month, I was zeicha to take him and his family to the Rebbe, and he was a guy that actually was probably one of the only chevra that sent me the video of the tunnels with a bit of upset, like, what is this? And so I explained it to him, whatever, as well as we can. Anyway, when I took him to 770 just now, and I was in the Viber section with his family, and I was showing him all the different, parts of 770, and I made a joke because the wall is clearly, different material. And I said, by the way, you remember the thing, the tunnels? That's it. Like, with a smile, he says, you know what? Because he took a walk in 770 amongst all the Bachrim. It was incredible, by the way, incredible experience. Take them 770. It was the day that all the camps were leaving from Eastern Parkway. The place was on fire. It was unbelievable. And they were just blown away by everything. And but he says to me, when I said the tunnels, he says, Eli, I get it. I get it. He says, that was it. But sometimes you have to let the Rebbe do the job. Take people to the Rebbe, and let the Rebbe take care of all the chitzainis. L'chaim v'bracha. No. V'yata Marta, eitev ma. V'yata Marta, eitev ma. V'santi esarach. Marta, eitev ma. I'll say one more thing. Just to finish off. On a few things. I was just at the Ohel, and for the first time, you hear a lot of iris, but there's also kalim. I went to the Ohel about a month ago, and for the first time ever, I asked the Rebbe for a bracha. I don't know why it took me so long. I asked the Rebbe for a bracha, not just for Bani Chaim Zayna, but I asked the Rebbe specifically, I don't know why, for Parnasa Bar Chava. And I really dwelled on it. And it was a few days before Gimel Tammuz. It was setting up all the the video, the what's it called, the corridors where people stand and wait, and they have videos playing. It's a bit interesting because you're in the Ohel and you can hear the Rebbe's voice. So anyway, I came out of the Ohel, and immediately, and I managed to find the video and record it. But the first words I heard the Rebbe say was, "You have to give a chaimish." I thought I was going to get a free pass. I asked the Rebbe for Parnasa Bar Chava, and the first thing I had, I went back and I looked at it, and the Rebbe Taka says that it comes through a chaimish. That's just one nekuda, and I just want to say that when you mean it with an emes, when you really want to be makusha to the Rebbe, the Rebbe is here for us. During COVID, we had a Farbrengen with the shluchim, and I was sitting with Eli Feldman, and we had a really good Farbrengen, and I started to cry a little bit, and I said that I see shluchim around me and my father-in-law, and I see how many Bali Tshuva he has. It's unbelievable. He says, and I said to myself, I don't even have one Bali Tshuva. I meant Bali Tshuva as in Lubavitch, a real hat and jacket type of guy. I don't have, not that it's important, it really isn't, right? But I was having a moment, okay, we all do. I was having a weak moment. I thought it was important, okay? And that was one of the things I was bringing about. Anyway, it was Gimel Tammuz by night, so early Gimel Tammuz. The next night, we got a call from the hospital that we have to come visit someone. So I jumped in the car with my father-in-law, literally the next night. Now, years ago, there was a boy who knocked on our Chabad house door, and he needed a mezuzah, an English boy. And I said, sure. So I go with him to put up the mezuzah in his new house. And if you know Sydney, he bought an apartment in the Adina hotel, looking over the whole beach and everything.
Nice.
Okay, this guy is single. He's got all these gamings over there. It's like Anyway, he told me that he was. You can look him up. He was the champion of UK in gambling or something, and he won like 10 million pounds or something, right? And he couldn't handle the pressure in England, so he moved to Australia. He bought himself an apartment, and he went to Chabad house to find a mezuzah. Anyway, I saw that he was telling me stories how he was taken advantage of by people and stuff. So I made a policy right there and then, I'm never going to ask this guy for a cent. He was very vulnerable at the time, and we became good friends. He would stay in my house overnight, and anyway, while he was living there, this was 8 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe more. No, maybe about 10 years ago. While he was living there, we brought Chief Rabbi Amar to Australia, and he stayed in that hotel, in the Adina Hotel. So one time when Rabbi Amar was coming out, I told this guy, I knew he needed a bit of brachas. I told him, come downstairs, get a picture with Rabbi Amar. Get a bracha, whatever. Get a bracha. I took a photo. 2 weeks before this Farbrengen that I had with Eli Feldman, it came up as a memory, so I actually just sent it to the guy. I actually haven't been in touch with him. I just sent it to him on the Facebook, and I didn't even expect a response, and he didn't respond. The next night from this Farbrengen, when I was complaining that I have no Balei Tshuva with a hat and jacket, and I jump into the car, bloop, I get this message, and it's him, and he responds, the blessing of Rav Amar, right? He's referring to in the picture. The blessing obviously worked. And he sent a photo of himself sitting by a Gimel Thomas Farbrengen in Mayanot with a hat and jacket on. And he says to me, Eli, I'll never forget that you took me to the office and you said that I should go learn in Mayanot. 7 years later, I finally made it. It's whatever, right? The whole basis of the story is ridiculous because what do you care about hat and jackets, whatever?
They're not looking for building. They're not looking for building. They might have asked for it.
It's all right. But the point is that the Rebbe cares. If you care enough to care about the Rebbe's inyanim, yeah, Leo ben Pnima. Leo ben Pnima shall refuah shlema. Amen. Who? Menachem Mendel Chamadini? Menachem Mendel ben Chamadini shall refuah shlema. Amen. Anyway, Divas now from Machna Bracha Chreina, and Zichar Machna Bracha Chreina.
Thank you very much for coming. All the way from Sydney.
2 weeks ago.
Beautiful Farbrengen.
I think the girls are waiting.
I just want to make an announcement. Next Thursday night, Rabbi Lushus is supposed to give a shir. However, we are now pushing it off to the matzah Shabbos afterwards. We're doing a joint evening with the Ohel. So it will be matzah Shabbos, but I'll put it out on the chats. But just for everyone here to know, next Thursday night it will be a few days later on the matzah Shabbos instead.
Like
Thank you.
Right, is the camera still rolling, by the way?
I'll move out of the way.
Huh?
I'll move out of the way.
It is? Okay, so anyway, shkoyach to the marganin.
That's why I came.
Oh, wow. Another appointment. Girls. It's a small high school girls thing. Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah, it's pretty